Kaho Naa, Pyaar Hai released, and
It was a major hit.
that Friday, Ritik and I became the heartthrobs of the nation and overnight success. So I guess it was just meant to be. So it was never my intention or my dream to join the film at all. I'm a gold medalist in economics. It was not my goal. Films happened by complete default, and now 20 plus years and here I am. Mr. Sanjay Bansali, after Gadar 1 released, he told me a very interesting thing. Bollywood is not a place where they tailor make roles for women. Everything rests on a hero's shoulders.
In this world of Bollywood, there must have been moments where you were like, I can't do this anymore.
I was the only non-star kid that had entered the industry. So I saw the people changing.
Yeah.
I also saw their questions in their eyes. I'd cry my heart out. I'd put myself to sleep crying and wake up the next morning with a fighter spirit. Then if there's merit and there's destiny and there's God, then comes a Gadar 2 and defies all the norms, breaks all the boundaries.
For the fact that you've been able to keep your skin that way, your beauty that way, your body looks more incredible than it ever did.
Being in the public domain of filmmaking, if you don't look attractive to the audience, they're not going to lap you up and take you into their homes and hearts.
Ameesha, welcome.
Thank you.
It's so nice to have you with us on Beauty Banter. You look absolutely drop dead amazing.
Thank you. I think I'm taking cues from the best.
No.
We have a role model sitting right here with us who never seems to age, who just is gorgeous day by day. So I think we take pride in knowing you and learning from you.
Thank you, Ameesha. That's really kind of you. I know that you were a South Bombay kid. And
Cathedral school.
Cathedral school, which can't be more South Bombay.
Head girl.
Head girl. And straight into Bollywood. That's a struggle by itself. Forget everything else. You know, to adapt from that to, you know, the and I'm going to be probably shot for saying that, but it's different.
Very different. It was actually a culture shock for me too. First of all, I never grew up or educated myself in the field of so-called Bollywood. No acting classes, no diction classes, no action classes, no dancing, Bollywood dancing classes. So it was never my intention or my dream to join the film at all. I'm a gold medalist in economics. I was studying at the Tufts University in Boston. I graduated, came back, and was going to go back to Boston to pursue my master's actually. And films happened to me by default. I never had a portfolio. I never took my pictures from production office to production office, nothing, because it was not my goal in life to be here.
Yeah.
I would have probably been, an investment banker, number crunching somewhere. I had a short stint before films at the stock market, and finance and economics was actually my forte. But I think, when they say you're destined to be somewhere, and films happened by complete default, and now 20 plus years, and here I am.
I know, it's incredible. And then what happened?
So
Somebody saw you somewhere and said,
Mr. Rakesh,
you're the girl.
It happened exactly like that. Actually, you won't believe it. I mean, it sounds like it's from a book or a movie, but I was attending a wedding, with my family, which was a filmy wedding. I had no desire to attend it, but I had to give company and went with the family. And I had come back from work. I was working at the stock market with Khanwala Securities, and I was the head economic analyst there. And Mr. Rakesh Roshan was actually entering, and I was exiting. If he had been earlier or come later, had I left earlier or later, that meeting would never have happened at the entrance and exit of the venue. And he just looked at me and blinked his eyelids for a bit, and he said to my father, who was there at that point, that girlfriend, and literally. And my father turned around and said, no, Rakesh, this is Ameesha. She's just graduated, come back from Boston. And that's it. She's, now working. And that was all the conversation, and I exited the venue. Next day, we got a call Rakesh uncle invited me home for lunch. And I had that typical South Bombay attitude that, oh my God, not going to go all the way from Marine Drive to Juhu. You need a passport, you need your visa, that South Bombay chip on your shoulder that all of us had at some point. And I did not want to go. And I did not even know that he was actually inviting me home for lunch to offer me my first film, Kaho Naa, Pyaar Hai. I was clueless. So
then you saw Ritik.
yes, so like any teenager, I went in with just a white t-shirt, sneakers, and a pair of jeans, no makeup, hair in a ponytail, sulking that I had to make this whole,
Journey.
Trek. I would call it a trek to Juhu from South Bombay, not wanting to go. I reached Rakesh uncle's house and entered the bar room. And Ritik was sitting there, and we'd been friends when we were kids. It was a pretty much similar social circle. So we used to be at parties together, occasions together. And I looked at him and I said, "Wow, you've become one hell of a handsome guy." I said, "But forget all that. I need the washroom. Where's the washroom?" That was my first sentence to him. And he just looked at me and he's like, "This girl's cracked." And I went to use the washroom because I had made the trek from South Bombay to Juhu, obviously. And in my absence, while I was at, in the washroom, I don't know this, but this is what Rakesh uncle and Ritik told me later, that Rakesh uncle hadn't slept all night. He'd come home from that wedding and he said, "I found Sonia, I found our Sonia, I found our Sonia for the film." And Ritik was waiting to see me. And they exchanged a thumbs up while I was, in the
Rushing
washroom.
to the washroom.
Yeah. And so Ritik approved. Rakesh uncle hadn't slept all night. And they still hadn't told me at that point what I was there for. I just thought it's a social, lunch. We had our lunch. There was just Rakesh uncle, his wife, Pinky auntie, and Ritik. And after lunch, I was sitting and I said, "Okay, now I better head back. I have got a long trek back." And Rakesh uncle said, "No, Ameesha, can you just tell me one thing? What is your plan for the future?" So I told him, I said, "Honestly, I'm at the crossroads. I don't know whether I want to go back to Boston and study further, or Morgan Stanley had offered me a prime position and had said, okay, 10 days New York office, 10 days London office, 10 days India." And they were very impressed with my CV and, my achievements and my academics. So they were like, "We need someone who can speak well, who's well exposed and well educated to represent us." And it was a fabulous position. So I was confused. Do I want to go back and study further? Do I want to take up this offer? Do I want to continue working where I was in the stock market? So I expressed this confusion to Rakesh uncle, but none matched what he had in store for me. So he said, "But what about films?" And I'm like, "But what about films?" He's like, "Have you considered acting?" I said, "I do a skit or two in school and university. I've won awards in dramatics for Best Director, Best Actress. I'm a Bharatnatyam trained dancer. But if you're asking me about Bollywood, I have no such intentions." And he's like, "But he took out a contract from, I don't know from where, it was already printed and everything." And he said, "I'm offering you a film. Would you want to do it?" And I said, "What film?" He said, "I want to launch you in Kaho Naa, Pyaar Hai with my son, with Dugu." That's what they call him at home, with Ritik. And I was like, "Really? But I don't know the ABCD of acting." And he was like, "Really?" And I thought about it for literally just 5 minutes. And I said, "Okay, let me just do it." I didn't even take a day to think. I took 5 minutes and I said, "What is the worst that can happen? The film will fail. I won't succeed. That's the worst case scenario. I'll go back to doing what I'm doing, my education, my job, whatever it is at that point."
Because the education is there forever.
Ever. And I was already a graduate, so it was not that I had left an education to join cinema, which I had offers for. Vinod Khanna uncle had offered me Himalaya Putra with Akshay. Feroz Khan uncle had offered me Premagan with Fardeen. But all these films were being filmed when I was away in university. And it was decline. I'm studying. And films is not on my radar. But I guess this was meant to be. So we sat down. I had no clue what Kaho Naa, Pyaar Hai was, what the film was. I just merely asked Rakesh uncle, I said, "So I guess we start filming in 6 months. That'll give me time to prep because I'm from this typical South Bombay family. No clue about, films. I can watch them, but I don't know how to be in front of the camera. And he said, no, Ameesha, we start in 3 days. So I got the biggest shock. I didn't know how to face the camera. You know, Rakesh uncle would say right and I would go left because the camera angles are opposite. But I just went with the flow. I did what I felt was right. And then the rest is history. Kaho Naa, Pyaar Hai released, and
It was a major hit.
and that Friday, Ritik and I became the heartthrobs of the nation and overnight success. So I guess it was just meant to be. I don't know, you know?
But stopping you right here, any regrets not going back for an MBA? And I mean, it's now.
Yeah.
It's now like 20 plus years, you know, right here today, and looking back and seeing how the world has changed. You know, you don't know what's going to happen then to the world, but today the world is so academic. You know, the people who have probably done an MBA are like sitting in billion-dollar jobs, you know. So do you regret?
You know, I've never regretted anything in my life, but I am human. So you always feel, what if I had gone that direction? Especially at times when you're feeling beaten up by the profession you're in, or you're down and out mentally. You feel, is this public scrutiny, you know, was it all worth it? Because we're in such a public profile that anyone and everyone,
Judges you.
judges you every single day. They
Right.
don't know you, but they judge you. Whereas had I done, you know, maybe taken up the offer from Morgan Stanley or gone back for my MBA, I would only be the person judging myself, that how can I better myself? I wouldn't have this I wouldn't need public validation. And, but at that time, had I not taken this path, and Kaho Naa, Pyaar Hai had released, and I would have seen the adulation and affection of the world and love.
There's
I would-
nothing like that.
it. I would have been like, did I make a mistake? So I think it's always about taking the road less traveled. I belong to a family that is political. I belong to a family that is in business. No one had ventured into the so-called big bad world of cinema, you know,
Yeah.
Bollywood. I was the road less traveled, and I don't regret that at all. There will always be what ifs. Like even in my own profession, there were films that I didn't do for whatever reasons, like Shah Rukh Khan's Chalte Chalte and stuff like that, that were my films. Some of them became colossal successes, some of them failed. You know, but at that time I didn't do them either because of dates, or I couldn't imagine myself doing it. And or sometimes, like for Shah Rukh's film, for Chalte Chalte, I didn't even know it had been offered to me because my secretary didn't even let it get to me that this film is in the offering. And when it was about to release and Shah Rukh was dubbing for it, is when he took me into the dubbing studio and said, come, let me show you a few edits of some footage of a film you declined. And I said, Shah Rukh, what have I declined? And he said, this film. You know, so you of course, any profession you're in, you will step back and say, had I done this or that?
Sliding doors.
Yeah. And there
Sliding
will
doors,
always be
that door that was closing on your exit, and
Making an
Rakesh's entry.
Yeah.
You know, that sliding
Little
door.
doors.
So yeah, of course. After Kaho Naa, Pyaar Hai, you went into Gadar, which was also a big hit.
Yeah, the biggest.
The biggest hit. And, you know, like, what happened post that?
So Gadar and Kaho Naa, Pyaar Hai and my biggest film in the South, a Telugu film called Badri, I was shooting all three films parallel to each other. So Kaho Naa released in 2000 January, Badri, my Telugu film, released the same year in March or April. Both went on to become the biggest hits of that year in their respective industries. In Hindi, Kaho Naa; in Telugu, Badri. I followed it up with Gadar in 2001 June, which record was not broken till Gadar 2 happened last year. It became the biggest hit in the history of Indian cinema. You know,
Gadar 2?
Gadar 1.
Yeah.
And now Gadar 2 is. So Gadar 1 became the hit that had more footfalls in what we call more people entering the cinema than Titanic had. So these were, you know, few of the records actually that Gadar broke. Sholay, Hum Aapke Hai Kaun. It went down in the archives like Mughal-e-Azam and all these. Like Gadar is taught in cinema schools.
That's amazing.
So that became a real cult. And after these three hits happened, you know, back to back, I went down in the Guinness Book of Records for being the only girl in the history of Indian cinema who, from her debut, gave 3 back-to-back hits. Like I had a hat trick. And I went on to do very interesting films like Hamraz, which was very successful, Bhool Bhulaiya, Honeymoon Travels with Farhan Akhtar, Race to Bhool Bhulaiya with Akshay. Then, of course, I worked with Shah Rukh on a guest appearance in Om Shanti Om. I did a film with Salman, films with Ajay Devgan. I explored everything, all kinds of genres, all kind of actors. Working with them, Sanjay Dutt, Ajay. Like I worked with them all, and then I stayed away for a while because I didn't like the kind of work that was being offered. And interestingly, Mr. Sanjay Bansali, after Gadar 1 released, he told me a very interesting thing which I didn't understand there. He said, Ameesha, you've got your Mughal-e-Azam, you've got your Pakiza, so Mother India so early in your career. Actresses either don't ever get them, or if they do get their cult films that are iconic and that they're remembered forever. Like today, if you know Madhubala or Meena Kumari or Hema ji or, Nargis Dutt, you'll always relate it to Pakiza, Mughal-e-Azam, Sholay, Mother India. These are their films that will always be theirs. But it came later in their careers. So he said, it's going to be so hard for you now because you've got it at such an early stage of your career, like boom, 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 it was all there. That when a maker comes to you with a script, if it's mediocre, if it's not resting on your shoulders, if it doesn't have enough for you to do, because I know you're not that typical girl who just wants to run around trees, sing songs and have 2 scenes. You're a performer and you've proved it with the diverse films that you've done. So you're going to find it very frustrating and hard because Bollywood is not a place, film industry is not a place where they tailor make roles for women. Everything rests on a hero's shoulders.
Yeah.
So you won't be happy just to be a prop. So you should retire now. Just say, okay, I'm done. I've achieved it all. I can't get bigger. I can't achieve more because you've reached the pinnacle so fast. And I didn't understand what he was trying to tell me then. But over the course of the years, I realized when makers were coming to me, I found the film substandard. I was not happy just to be on a Friday to Friday film that gets a release. You're busy in your makeup van and on location, and then no one watches the film or remembers it.
Yeah. But so that was one of the big obstacles then.
Definitely a big obstacle. Plus, coming from a non-filmy background, having no godfather, doing things against the tide. You're not going with the norm of the film industry. You're making your own conditions and your own norms, actually, and your own rules. But then, like I said, if there's merit and there's destiny and there's God and my grandmother's blessings, then comes a Gadar 2. And defies all the norms, breaks all the boundaries, and you have the whole world and the same film fraternity saying, wow, you hit the ball out of the park. And it goes on to become the biggest hit in the history of Indian cinema yet again. And my business partner, Kunal, and a lot of my friends used to always joke, Arey, Gadar 1 record will only be broken if a Gadar 2 is ever made. And we used to laugh. Like the past 15 years, we've laughed about it, that you're being ridiculous. But it was surreal because that's what actually happened last August when Gadar released. It broke every single record, including its own that it had set.
One thing is for sure, you made a great comeback. And, it's not a comeback like you'd see the, I don't want to name, but there are plenty who you look the same. And that is what's incredible. The fact that you've been able to keep your skin that way, your beauty that way, even your hair, when they were doing your hair just now before this, they were all like talking about your hair. Your body looks more incredible than it ever did.
Thank you.
So it's not only, and I firmly believe it's not only the mindset that reinvents itself. It's also how you follow it up with your activities.
Absolutely.
What you do for your skin, how you do your routine, your hair, your body, and then of course that whole thing just adds up to the aura. Don't you believe in it?
Absolutely. If, especially being in the public domain of filmmaking, if you don't look attractive to the audience, they're not going to lap you up and take you into their homes and hearts. And like yourself, you take a lot of pride in being gorgeous at any age and any stage. And when I mean gorgeous, it's inside and outside, beautiful inside and outside, at every age, every stage. It comes with a lot of sacrifice and hard work.
Right.
It's not easy. Like, you may have a Rolls Royce, but that Rolls Royce can become completely knackered and atrocious and become, just metal if you don't maintain it. It takes a lot of sacrifice, like I said, a lot of effort. And a good skincare, hair care regime, eating healthy. A lot of times I also want to go out and party till the wee hours of the morning with my friends. I want to have that extra drink, but I won't do it.
Yeah.
Because
That's
I
the
know
discipline.
it's the discipline that goes behind it. So it takes a lot. And of course, having a very clean heart with clean thoughts and using fabulous products, like the one you have given the world, that makes our job so much easier.
Thanks, Ameesha. Where does the radiance come from anyway?
I think in being a very positive person and knowing that you're very clean. There's one thing about a conscience, and I think that reflects. You may be tossing and turning at night for other reasons, stresses, pressures, which all of us have. Good times, bad times, they come and go. But knowing that you have not actively harmed anyone, you have never done anything that goes against your moral grain, your morals and values. You've consciously made an effort to be honest to the human being you are, and that hasn't changed. You wake up, even if you're tired after not sleeping, but you wake up looking in the mirror proud of yourself. And this is something that my grandmother, who's no more, who I was most attached to.
And you got the skin from her.
Yes. So she was radiant at 90. Like, she's on my phone screensaver and wallpaper and everything. If you see her at 90, she did not have a wrinkle. And her goodness and her beauty radiated from inside. Yes, she was blessed with the most gorgeous complexion. She looked, almost like a foreigner, a Kashmiri. She was radiant, fair, with pink cheeks and green eyes. And all that she needed was like a lipstick and she'd be ready. But what she taught me, and she went through not an easy life. She went through a lot of downs in her life.
Right.
But the one thing that kept her in good stead, which she taught me, was, Ameesha, be an honest person in every walk of life. The path of honesty is a very difficult path. Taking the shortcuts are much easier. They get you more fame, more money, maybe a better lifestyle, less the other kinds of stress.
Right.
But the path of truth is a longer and surer path, and you'll be happier if you follow it in the long run.
I think you should give that sermon to the young people today. Because
They want shortcuts all the time.
Everybody's looking for a shortcut. They don't know, they don't care
Hard
how they
work,
reach there.
Exactly.
For Bollywood to welcome you back, after so many years, it's like a cutthroat industry. How did you get so easily into it? I know that you probably had the crew of Gadar, and that was a big support. But just to be accepted by Bollywood and the new people out there who are now really successful, how was it? How was the struggle of that?
Well, when I went on Gadar sets, I was the most comfortable person because Gadar is about Tara and Sakina, Sunny and Ameesha. And when I wore that costume of Sakina and I was in front of Sunny in his costume as Tara, both of us initially were not prepared. We'd gone on set after 20 years to play one of the most iconic characters of Indian cinema. It's like going back and doing a Mughal Azam or going back doing a Sholay. There's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of expectation.
Right.
People have lived with Gadar for 22 odd years.
Yeah. And they're ready to shoot you down.
And they're ready to shoot you down. And they also have expectations.
Yeah.
Because they want to love those characters
Yeah.
again. They've taken you into their homes and hearts for so long.
Yeah.
So we had that stress and pressure of not only matching up to our previous Gadar, but in some ways maybe taking it a notch forward. That's why it took so many years to even come to making a part 2. See, the audience never tells an actor we don't want you. An audience loves their actors. There's a loyalty to their actors that they've seen for their good work and their body of work. It's the industry that plays with you.
Yeah.
And I've seen it from day one where I was not welcomed because I was an outsider. In fact, when I was doing Kaho Naa, Pyaar Hai, I was the only newcomer who was an outsider. Ritik insider, Kareena insider, Isha Deol insider, Tushar Kapoor insider, Abhishek Bachchan insider, Fardeen Khan insider. I mean, you name it, I was the only non-star kid that had entered the industry. And when I became successful, it wasn't digested. That how did an outsider come in from a non-filmy family and make it? And make it so big? How? So I saw the people changing.
Yeah.
I also saw their questions in their eyes, not liking it, that here comes a girl from nowhere in Bollywood. And yes, she's from a very privileged background, by the grace of God. You know, I grew up in a beautiful legacy. I was Rajni Patel's granddaughter, but I didn't bring that chip on my shoulder when I came into the industry. So yet again, I saw it, you know, with Hamraz's success, Bhool Bhulaiya's success, and then Gadar 2, of course, people were shocked.
So how do you deal with the trolls?
With a pinch of salt. I actually don't care because I'm like, you've come to my Instagram page, you've come to see what my activities are, and you're commenting on it means you're really affected by me. So that's good. Go watch my films. I'm fine. You know?
I'm telling you, talk to the younger people. They need to hear all this.
See, Instagram, the younger generation needs to understand, you know, like they say, the grass is greener on the other side. You always feel someone else's life is more beautiful and
the
perfect.
FOMO, the
FOMO, exactly. So the grass is always greener on the other side of Instagram. No one posts their failures on Instagram or their fears or their insecurities. They're posting 30 seconds of that perfect shot that they've taken and trying to show you that their life is all rosy.
That also photoshopped.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's something I don't do. Like people ask me, your Instagram handle is so organic. You never have like the perfect shots. You know, you're never done up. You post with your friends. You post with your activities. You just make it. I said, yeah, because I want the real me to come across.
Do you know that there are very few people who do that because they believe in what they are to be projected, the person you are, not
The
that
real.
much in the way you're looking,
Yeah.
because acceptance comes from the person you are. And you know, the times when when Bombay Times was coming up, and you know, there were a few makers and shakers of Bombay Times, and I was one of them at that time. There were friends of mine who would obsess about the way the photograph looked about them. You know, like, I'm just not looking good, and you know, I wish this photograph hadn't come out, and the whole depression of the day.
My God.
You know, and it was, and here I was trying to say, it's the person. You know, it's the person who's there.
And we all come with flaws.
Yeah.
We all come with, you know, we're not perfect. Imperfections are part of human nature and part of physicality. You have to accept it and be proud of them. And this
But
is
you don't
something-
have so many imperfections. So it's okay.
Thank you. But that's what, for me, my Instagram or anything, the person I am, I'm the same off camera as I'm on.
Also, another comment coming back to beauty, I can't help but talk about beauty when I see you, is that you've able to maintain yourself and able to maintain your look. Another thing that's going around is that you meet somebody after 10 years and you walk past them because they look like a different person. You know, with all the inventions that are happening for the face, you know, they're like, oh, that's you? And then you turn around and say, what has she done to herself? You know? So whatever you're doing, I mean, you can't be doing nothing, but I think the intelligence has made you look like the same Ameesha. I must compliment you on that.
Thank you. Thank
You know,
you so
without the fillers and, you know, the nut job stuff going on, which people are doing to help themselves, sometimes go totally skew. And you're one of the rare people who have been able to maintain yourself over the years.
Thank you so much.
And Coming to that and coming to beauty, what's your take on that? Like, what's your take on, say, invasive beauty, on facelifts and...
See, I will not be against any tool that makes a person, he or she, feel better about themselves, uh, because they need to project confidence, and that confidence, I hate to say it, but physical appearance plays a huge part.
It does.
You know, how you're dressed, how you're looking, how's your hair, how's your skin, how's your makeup. I mean, today you see statistics of skincare, and the men's skincare lines are making more money and doing more sales than women's. That means it's not only left to the women that we normally say, oh, they're bothered about their skin and hair. Men are as actively involved and as actively wanting to and as actively interested in looking good as well and maintaining their youth.
Exactly.
But with that comes a lot of educated responsibility. You know, you cannot think anything and everything that's famous on Instagram or TikTok or people making reels about it is for you. Even fashion trends of clothing. You've got to actually step back and say, this is my body type. This is my hair, skin, personality type. This is my profession. I can wear this. My personality allows me to. My physique allows me to. My age allows me to. And I'm comfortable. If you're not comfortable, don't follow fashion trends blindly.
Yeah.
You know, set a trend. Don't follow them blindly.
Or become a better version of yourself.
Or become a version of yourself.
Yeah.
Don't alter. You know, that is something that is not attractive then, when you alter exactly how you've looked or how you've been as a human being.
Mild alteration is okay.
Fine. Mild alteration is
like
absolutely
if you have a big nose, you want to do a nose job, okay.
Enhancement
you know?
is fine. You know, correction is fine. But don't get so obsessed that you ruin it. And like you said, you know, it's very important to be educated in what you're doing. Read up on things. Do just that bare minimum that makes you beautiful and loving, and your nature as well should be loving and caring. It adds to the personality.
Yeah.
So I'm not against, but yes, what I do believe in, the more care you take, the less invasive treatment you have to do. For example, you know, using the products that you've launched 2.5, 3 years back, the reason they're doing so well is because obviously they're giving great results to people. So I also follow a very good skincare regime, a good hair care regime. I also do my facials regularly, cleanups. I believe that less is more where makeup is concerned. I hate chipped nails. I like to be hygienic. So I like my, my therapies to be consistent. I like to do them often, whether it's the haircuts, the coloring, the facials, the treatments, using good hair.
So there's no shortcut.
There's no shortcut.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to take the shortcut. I'd rather prolong the aging process and everything through effort than just think that you can do it in a quick fix by sitting under a knife, going under the knife with the doctor.
Yeah, but having had no godfather in the industry, being alone in this world of Bollywood, there must have been moments where you were like completely fall on and said that I can't do this anymore.
Oh, many.
Many. Mm-hmm. And what is it that you did?
I'd cry my heart out that evening when I was feeling destroyed. I'd put myself to sleep crying and wake up the next morning with a fighter spirit. And I would have a great, punch bag session with my friend Kunal and his wife Shalu. 3 of us are inseparable. I'd go to them crying. I'd cry all night and they'd put me to sleep crying. And the next morning, give me that strength. They'd be my pillars, my left and right pillar. And they say, you have no other choice but to bounce back. You can, you will. No matter how long it takes, you're here to stay. And they re-inculcated that faith in me that I may have lost, but I had them telling me that you can do it. And not just because they wanted to. In their hearts, they believed I could. And so when Gadar became the colossal success that it did, they were actually roaming with more pride. Though the success was mine, I was like, the success is equally yours. you know, they were actually more proud because they said you deserved it.
That's the humility talking. So tell me one thing, I'm going to ask you kind of a boring question. But do you think that education has anything to do with being smart going forward, even if it's in the beauty world or the Bollywood world, to be able to sort of understand with the intelligence how to reinvent yourself?
Absolutely.
Because I'm a master's in mathematics. I don't know if you know that.
No.
But I am. And I feel that I didn't become a professor, I didn't teach people, but what I learned from my education was how to be brave and how to make intelligent choices, and move forward with the knowledge that, look, you can't compete with a 25-year-old Queenie, you know, and. Do you think education has a part to play with in whatever field you go?
I only think education has a part. Education is what your discipline stems from, your mindset stems from, your confidence stems from. And you know that people can snatch away your stardom, your fame, your money, but they can never take away your education. That's why when you fall, when you have to stand up again, education is what's going to make you stand up. And it's going to, like you said, make you make those educated, intelligent decisions. Yes, a lot of them will backfire because we're not God. We don't know, even God makes mistakes.
Of course.
We don't know what will be good or wrong, but we know what will be more right than what will be more wrong. And education is what has seen me through. It has made me the person I am. Those 4 years in Boston when I was studying, other than the book knowledge, interacting with people who had a worldview, a social and political outlook from different countries, different cultures, actually made me the person that I am. And till date,
And the discipline.
The discipline. That
Routine.
Routine, exactly.
Yeah.
And I still wake up first thing in the morning, read the newspaper. For me, I'm not reading
You're
Bombay
still reading
Times.
newspaper?
I'm still reading the Times of India. I love the physical touch.
Yeah.
I'm still a bookworm. I read a book a week minimum, or 2 books in a week, time, given the time constraints. I'm still a bookworm. I still read the Economic Times. I still read the India Today. I like to keep myself abreast of things that are happening in every walk of life, in every profession. So today I'm as comfortable sitting with a Queenie as I would be sitting with a Donald Trump or Narendra Modi.
Are you a Trump supporter?
Absolutely.
Are you really?
Yes.
Ameesha, 2 important questions. One is, what's happening currently?
Films are being worked on. My successful film, which I had with Bobby and Akshay Khanna, called Hamraz. There's a sequel being worked upon that. There are some OTT shows that I am in talks for. And the directors of Gadar is also working on Gadar 3. So all that is happening at the moment.
But just a little advice from a really good well-wisher is, now you've had Gadar 2, which has been a phenomenal hit. Look at other roles.
Yeah, of course.
And look at the movies. Don't discard them as something that is not going to match up. Because
I shouldn't make that mistake again.
Don't make that mistake again, because you don't know which movie and which path will lead where.
I agree with you completely.
So that is just advice from somebody who loves you.
No, and I absolutely take it because, Queenie, this is something I want to do. I don't want to be typecast as an actress. Like, there are so many roles. The world is like your oyster, and you want to...
Right, absolutely.
The sky's the limit, or maybe not. I haven't yet done a Mughal princess or a Mughal warrior. I haven't got into that era of cinema. I've done a lot of period films, Mangal Pandey with Amir Khan, 2 Gadars that went into the period whole field, but I haven't gone beyond the British Raj, like before that. I'd love to venture to that. I'd love to play a negative role. Filmmakers, if y'all are watching this, please give me something negative every time.
You're too sweet.
That's the problem. I want to break that image. Then I want to play like a detective, a cop. There are so many, like a CID investigator, something that is... People just view you, they say, okay, she's pretty, put her in a glamorous role, give her a role where she's a wealthy woman, or, things like that. But I want to play negative characters, grey shades. even
Put
a
that on your
combat.
Instagram.
Yeah, really, I need
Put it on your
a combat
show. Yeah.
film, action film, because I can do all that, or an all-in-out comedy.
Yeah.
Completely like leave your brains at home and come and listen to the most idiotic jokes. Because trust me, I have the most idiotic sense of humor. I crack the off record and on record. My jokes are vile. They're horrible. They're the most corny, pathetic jokes. But I love laughing and I love
Yeah.
making people laugh. So I hope I can do a comedy with a bunch of fantastic, happy actors and stuff like that.
Can't end the podcast without asking you your beauty regime.
I'll have to come back with you with that too, because I also need to know your secrets. But just a few. I started very early doing things like facials and cleanup so that your acne is cleansed from your face, your whiteheads, blackheads. I feel the need for every 15 days manicures, pedicures, keeping the skin clean, changing your routine as per the weather, climate, the countries you go to, nourishing the skin with good moisturizers, serums, so good night cream and good night serum. When I'm not working, I do not use makeup at all. If I'm out also, it's the bare minimum. Even on screen, for me, less is more. I do the least possible that I can, and as natural as I can possibly be. With hair as well, getting regular oil massages, deep conditioning treatments.
Oil massages really work because they
Yes.
say that if you put too much oil, then you have to wash it also, and it strips off.
It's just the little bit that you heat and put for half an hour and wash it off. But
Right.
I felt it really has helped me because I've been doing it since I was a kid. And then putting the egg in your hair, raw beaten egg, and that helps to take out the oil more than the shampoo. So you're not
Yeah.
damaging it as much. Getting good sleep, eating clean. Don't go by the body. I eat like a pig. I can eat a man under the table. I have a huge appetite. My metabolism is very high because I'm a very hyper person. But I eat everything. I don't crash diet ever. Because I feel when you crash diet and you do all these things, it shows on your hair and skin. You tend to lose out important vitamins and minerals that are the building blocks of our collagen and our protein that is required for
Right.
your hair and skin. I also weight train. I train heavier than a lot of the men. Tiny me, a delicate me, actually lifts really heavy weights, more than my own body weight and almost double of my body weight. I can
Wow.
squat, deadlift like 100 pounds, 150, like things like that. So I push myself. The minute I've reached one goal, I set myself to a higher.
Anti-aging. Very anti-aging.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Weight
Very
training is
an-
anti-aging?
Very anti-aging
So
because it builds your muscles,
Yes.
and it takes away the fat, and it gives you another sort of metabolism.
Yeah, my metabolism is very high.
Yeah. So it's completely anti-aging, and your body tone becomes different.
So I love weight training. So I'm someone who's more a weight trainer than cardio. I blend it, but my focus is weight training. So I like doing it and keeping, like I never sleep with makeup on, ever. No matter how exhausted I am, I will take that half an hour to completely remove every grime and dot of makeup that's on my face. Use good products for cleansing and face washes, etc. Masks, face masks. I will shower before I sleep. I believe in being a very hygienic person. I am. My surroundings are very hygienic. I'm an OCD almost when it comes to things. Very particular and organized and disciplined.
And you've made it your lifestyle.
Yes, it
so
is.
it may sound tiresome to the audience, but actually, if you make it your lifestyle, then it's not. Then
not.
it becomes like
It's like
like
breathing,
religion,
eating,
your
yeah.
lifestyle.
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
So rapid fire round. Yoga or weights?
Weights. I have no patience for yoga. I know it's important. I wish I could do it, but I'm a weight training girl.
World is challenged with acne or pigmentation?
A blend of both, and as of now, I think more pigmentation because people don't use their sunblocks and global warming. So it's pigmentation, and you see it rampant even in men now.
Yeah. Dream role you'd love to play?
There are so many, but definitely a Mughal warrior princess, a detective, a cop, someone negative, definitely like a vamp, I want to try that too. A completely dark black character. Like you would not
Oh my
imagine.
God. Who's your biggest role model in the industry?
I think Mr. Bachchan, I think he transcends so many generations. And he was my role model as a kid growing up when, I was not even born when Sholay was released. And then you've seen him through the ages, you've seen him fall and pick himself up. I've been in studios when Mr. Bachchan was at his lowest, and people like watchmen and stuff have not wanted his autograph. He's seen that kind of humiliation. Today, being the living legend that he is, and having the ability through his hard work, dedication, belief in himself to pick himself up and rise like the phoenix every single time. And he's highly educated, well read. I think the education has helped him too. He speaks so elegantly. He's so humble. His humility is such a lesson for all of us. So I think there could not be a bigger or better role model than Mr. Bachchan.
The one secret to your glowing skin. One secret.
My grandmother's genes, I think.
Don't say that. That's the end for anybody who's struggling for
No, and taking care with good products.
Okay. What's your guilty pleasure?
I have so many. I love food. So it'll be chaat. My worst vice is Diet Coke. And shopping is a real guilty pleasure, actually.
That's lovely. To accept age or fight it?
Accept it and fight it gracefully.
Yeah.
Fight it, because everyone wants to be forever young, and not only physically, even mentally and emotionally.
Right.
So you are what you feel you are. If today I feel 16 and I'm going to go into a nightclub and I'm going to dance my, feet off like I'm 16, I am 16. So
Best compliment you've ever received?
that
Probably from me coming today, one after the other.
beauty with brains, your beauty with brains. I think there couldn't be a more lethal combination. And it also breaks the stigma that if you're a good-looking woman, you can't be intelligent. And if you're a nerd, then you can't be good-looking. But I think people like you and me have defied that. Beauty can go with brains. It does, And it's so amazing to know that, you're a master's in mathematics, and that's something the world needs to also know, that breaking away from this ultra glamorous Queenie who's gorgeous and has been there forever and looking stunning. And, when you think of Queenie, you think of this most well turned out, dressed to the T, gorgeous woman who can walk into a room and have all the heads turned. But there is so much more to her, and she's brilliant as well.
Who's been a geek and fighting calculus.
Exactly. Who's been brilliant herself. So the world has to know beauty and brains go together.
Thank you. One thing people don't know about you.
That I'm a stickler about cleanliness. In my home, everything is coded, numbered. My closets are color coded. It's all blue, 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 white, 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 pink, 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 yellow, yellow. It's literally like that. Short sleeves, long shirts, short shirts, long jackets. Like everything has a particular place. And if something moves, I cannot sleep.
Oh my God.
So I will come home at any given hour, settle my room first, and then only sleep. I cannot sleep with a mess. I'm a OCD.
Who's on your speed dial for career advice?
My best friend and business partner, Kunal Guma.
Okay. One piece of advice you'd give your younger self?
Don't take life too seriously. The good comes with the bad. The success comes with the failure. But at the end of every dark tunnel, there's a rainbow. There's a pot of gold waiting for you. There's light at the end of the tunnel. So brave it always with a smile on your face, and don't let it bog you down. Learn to live your life and enjoy every precious moment, because the years don't come back.
When I said to your younger self, your tone suddenly became compassionate and kind. Just a note.
Oh, wow.
3 stars you'd love to collaborate with?
Mr. Bachchan. 4 actually. Shah Rukh, I've done a brief, and I missed out on Chalte Chalte and other films for reasons that were not even known to me. So Shah Rukh for sure in a full-fledged romantic film, with his pose, and us in Switzerland with the chiffon saris and all that stereotypical stuff. But Julia Roberts and Tom Cruise. I'd love
Lovely. 2 top skincare products that you swear by.
Queenie, when you had given me your beauty brand, a few months ago, and I used it. I loved them. And so I'd swear by your products. And two other brands that have stood me in good stead, which are international. One is Dermalogica and the other is Clarins. I am someone who has gone by a lot of trial and error. So I keep trying products. I read, that's where the education comes, and I read the ingredient list. I read the benefits, the side effects, everything. I've understood my skin type over the years.
What's your favorite ingredient?
I think I love vitamin C. I love hyaluronic acid. But I love things that have deep nourishing properties, because what my skin type really needs is hydration. Because of the travel and makeup and air pressure and flights and stuff, my skin gets very dehydrated. So I need something that's immensely nourishing. So I read the ingredients and stuff. So Clarins and Dermalogica have seen me through. I've tried all, La Prairie to La Mer, like any brand that has made the promises and narrowed it down to what suits me. So the three brands that really suit me are yours and Clarins and Dermalogica.
And what's the newest fun fact or skill that you've just developed?
I don't know if it's a skill, but I tend to play music in my room when I'm alone and dance like no one's watching, or dance like everyone's watching. I actually dance like everyone's watching, I think. And while I'm getting dressed, or I can't sleep till 4 or 5 in the morning, I will just start playing random music, keep Googling, going on YouTube for newer music, adding it onto my playlist.
This is a new thing?
New thing. I had stopped all this because I had no time. And it's not a skill. I don't think it's a skill. It's just something that I'm
indulgence.
doing. It's an indulgence. And I'm just enjoying doing it.
Lovely. Ameesha, it's been absolutely wonderful to have you with us on Beauty Banter. I mean, you're one person that I would have really wanted, because it sort of goes with our concept of transformation, and that you can change at any point in your life. You can make a comeback. You can be the best version of yourself, which you exemplify. And it's just been absolutely wonderful to have you with us. And with that, I'm going to present you our hamper.
Oh, wow.
Guys. So that's the bee hamper, which will give you the routine, the skincare routine. Please try it. It's got your skin type, I believe. Our bestsellers are there also. Our double cleanse and our serums and
fabulous.
I'm
going to get back to you of how they worked after a few weeks.
Yes,
seeing the
and try our sunscreen, because you didn't have it when I first sent it to you. It's a natural based sunscreen, so please try it.
I will.
And
thank you.
Good luck with everything.
So now you know, when I'm sitting in an interview with you a year or two down the line and you ask me, why are you looking even younger? I'm just going to have to show everyone this.
Thank you so much. It's not about this. It's about the person you are. And I truly believe that. And I really wish you loads of what you want. Whether it's success here or success there or peace or whatever it is, I wish you that.
Thank you. Likewise.
Thank you.